back to Studio Lou. I'm Cindy, and I'm going to get into the 5th in a series of gnome journals today. This journal is something like the 4th journal that I brought you in, that it has the same cover style. It is a crazy quilted style fabric journal cover that is made from my own boutique of these toadstools. So front and back, it's the same. It has a single signature, and it's got this little toadstool bead just kind of hanging off the end here. And it's not terribly fat, so there's lots of room to expand it if you like, but it's got lots of goodies in it, and I hope that you like what you see, because I had a lot of fun with these journals. So opening it on up, this journal, I'm just calling it the Toadstool Rose Journal, because it sort of starts with this rose. So inside is this little pocket on the inside cover, and inside this journal, it has been sealed with this book page. This is a large format encyclopedia page, and front and back it is the same. So there's this pocket here with this little gnome pushing a giant toadstool on a wagon. And inside of the pocket are these two things. So this is a large journal tag with a bunch of gnomes, and they just go in there. And then there's this little tag for writing on as well about spiders. It says, spiders are not especially friends of the gnome, but a gnome will never destroy a web because that might bring bad luck. So it's just kind of about the relationship that gnomes have with all woodland creatures, and that's original book art from the gnome books. If you haven't seen the first video in this series, the Gnome Tome, I highly recommend you check it out, because it explains where I got a lot of the gnome-related ephemera that I'm using throughout this series. So this is cabbage dyed paper, and then this side we have a belly band with a couple of cute little gnome images, and this is on some book page with these beautiful birds, and inside is this charming gnome journal card. And on the back, it's just kind of been randomly stamped with red bees. And this is actually an image of gnomes building in a basket weave structure. And that just slides on in there. Actually, just go this way. Yeah, this way. And then on the other side is just this beautiful sort of golden brown paper. I think these are together. Yeah, they are. And here is a pocket with a couple of geese. And behind it, a fish. I use a lot of nice nature book pictures and papers in this series. And then this is a journal tag that's been collaged. And this is actually an image from, it's a pottery gnome. It's a ceramic gnome from a catalog from the late 70s. So if you were a ceramic artist in the 70s, 80s, and actually the 90s, maybe even now, you could order these molds to create these ceramic sculptures of just all different things. So a few years ago, I sort of came across this whole group of molds, and the catalogs came along with it. So I just kind of pulled out these little gnomes to use in these journals. And here we have a woodpecker. This is a belly band that is on some children's book vegetable and fruit paper that was really pretty. And then this is a large journal card for writing on. And it says, a forest gnome aids a young bird whose mother has gone off without feeding it. So this is a gnome actually feeding a baby bird. And that's original book cover art from one of the gnome books that I used in this series. These books talk a lot about the relationship in the woodland that gnomes have with all of the wild animals. It's really sweet. And then this is a winter scene of a gnome standing in the snow looking out on this beautiful landscape. And inside this is a large journal card of a gnome that talks about all of the different activities that gnomes partake in as children. Red Rover, jump rope, blind man's bluff, kite flying when mother and father aren't looking, using a June bug or a bumblebee, dressing up as elves, witches, father, mother, king, queen, etc. Balance board with the most perfect and smoothest boards, checkers, flip the cap, authors, burr throwing to tease animals and people, gnome parcheesi. So it's pretty cute. And then this is just some brown paper. And this is a pocket that's made with this beautiful botanical, and it's on top of this botany magazine paper with these lovely plants and their scientific names, their genus names. And this is a journal card that's been collaged on both sides. And it says, "Don't you gnomes ever struggle for power? No, we have tossed all power politics overboard. That is, of course, much easier to do in a gnome society where you have no population problem." So it's interesting sort of literature for nowadays. I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of cute to think about a gnome society and how simple it would be. And this is just a little flip of a branch botanical page, some dyed paper, another little flower, and some wood sort of themed printed paper. And then this little, I guess this is like a little gerbil or a hamster maybe. These are vintage animal cards. And this is a magazine page with all sorts of different beautiful birch trees. And on this side we have this sort of side tuck that flips over and opens. So it's been hinged on the page. This is a botany cyanotope. And this is just a little sticker. So that's all writing space. And then this is a large journal card that's been collaged, and it has this sleepy gnome sleeping under what looks like maybe some chanterelle mushrooms. And it's got lots of botanicals. The back is coffee dyed paper. And then here we have an upper tuck that has this lovely deer, and you pull it out and it's just this beautiful magazine image of some vintage wooden rolling pins, which I really liked because I thought that, you know, this gnome book series is very about the lifestyle, the domestic lifestyle of gnomes, like all of the things they do, like this journal card, which is a gnome doing some wood building. And so I thought it would fit quite nicely with the theme. And then this is actually a fabric. Both of these are fabric pockets. So this is a technique that I learned a long time ago about how to transfer images from printers using orange oil on muslin. I can't even remember completely how I did this, but it's something I've been kind of hanging on to. And then this is a batik fabric. So that's the other side of those beautiful old rolling pins. And then there's this journal card inside of this gnome couple with these candles and a little moth on the back. And here we have lots of birds. So this is a vintage bird book, and this is a journal card with some birds and some little grapes. And that just tucks in there. On this side we have a black and white photograph of a bird, and then these gorgeous flowers from a magazine, and foxgloves. They're just gorgeous. And on this side, this is actually an old calendar page, and it has a handmade envelope out of this black and white owl paper, and inside of it is actually a monarch butterfly journal card, so you can write on there. And that just tucks right in there, and the envelope closes. And this side is a pocket with some more birds and this beautiful calendar botanical paper. And inside is a journal tag with real birch bark on the back, because the front is about birch bark, and it's from the gnome book, and it talks about how gnomes use birch bark. And this is the center of the signature, and it is a coloring book page from the story of Pandora. It's very beautiful, lots of nature references. And this is the other side of that calendar paper. And on this side is an upper tuck, a gnome with some beautiful like purple sort of daisy-like flowers. And behind it is this postcard paper with this beautiful butterfly. And then we have a journal card that just pops up into the tuck, and it's a gnome tending to a mole. And on the back, a beautiful flower. And on this side is a fall leaves themed little pocket. Behind it are some more of those foxgloves. And this is a journal card with this beautiful gnome couple, and they're in candlelight with this bee stamp here, and on the back are just some birds. And then this side is another handmade envelope, and this is from the original Gnome book. And it's sort of a windmill landscape scene. And inside is this journal card. Has a mushroom on the back, and on the front it's sort of a wintry scene, and it says, "What a wonderful bird the frog are. When he sit he stand almost, when he hop he fly almost. He ain't got no sense hardly, he ain't got no tail hardly either. When he sit on what he ain't got almost." And that's an anonymous poem, but I thought it was pretty cute and went along with the theme of these books. And the other side is a vintage bird book, just this cute little bird. And this is a vintage bird card image. Then this is more of those, what are they called? Rolling pins. I forgot for a minute there. And then some just acrylic painted space, so you can actually write right across that. And the same here, more of those rolling pins. And then this is just a piece of brown paper, but over it is just a side tuck large journal card. So on the back is, this is actually a date due sort of old library stamping, like due date card, and it's on some brown paper, brown paper bag paper. And then on the front is an original image from the Gnome book that I used to create this series, and it's a gnome who's just untangling a deer or an elk maybe from this string that got all wrapped around its antlers, and that just folds and tucks right over the side of this page. And over here we have this lady gnome, and she's just sort of looking, and then it's on a cyanotope of a botany, like flowers. And then inside is a journal card. Both of these images are original to the Gnome book, and it's about the hamster, and the gnome is telling the hamster something. It's about the relationship that gnomes have with hamsters. And on this side is a side tuck with this beautiful fiddlehead fern image. And inside, well, actually behind is some more of the birch tree magazine paper. It's beautiful imagery. And then inside is a journal card of a Luna moth from like a field guide. And it's on Easter egg dyed paper that's been loop-de-loop stitched on the back. And then this is just a botanical, and some more of that wood grain paper, and then a little goose. And this beautiful vintage owl picture. And this is more Easter egg dyed paper. This side is more botany magazine. And then this is a collaged pocket with this bird, and it's on the children's fruit and vegetable paper. And this is a collage journal card of a gnome putting something in a chest with lots of flowers. And the back is just this collage drawing paper. And on this side we have a side tuck of just different spider web illustrations in black and white. And inside are two journal cards that were black and white, where I've added these cute little gnome images. And those are both for writing on, like all the journal cards and tags in this book. And then this is just writing space with this little beetle. And over here we have a pocket. This is a wintry gnome just kind of hugging a kitty cat. And inside is, this is just some landscape illustration paper. And inside we have this image, which is about all the different teeth and like jaws and different bones from animals. It's from like a science book about animals. And that just tucks in there. And then some gold paper. And on this side we have this beautiful bird paper from a bird magazine, and more cabbage dyed paper, large format encyclopedia. And then the back is a pocket with a gnome carrying some things in a basket. And there are two things in here. So one is this journal tag with these 2 gnomes that are just flying along in the snow in these little seashells. That pops in there, and then a large journal card that talks about how gnomes do so many favors for wild animals. And on the back, there's a little, some mushrooms and a little bear, and this has been stitched around, and it's coffee dye paper on the back. And those just tuck in there, and that is the end of this journal. Thank you for joining me. So this is journal, I think, number 5 in this series of 12. For all of my social media information, please check the description box. Have a great day.